Because your content sucks. Yeah, I said it. Big whoop. Want to fight about it? Hope you didn't take any offense to me saying that your content sucks, but listen, my friend, I need you to understand this. I really mean that your content sucks, because if you're having any problems building your personal brand, then that means that your content sucks, because in order to build an effective brand, to build a profitable business, the foundation of everything is your content. And lucky for you, you're at the right place at the right time, because I've made over 7 figures online in my business, which is one digital product doing a little over 900K. And it's because I understand the fundamentals of branding. And it's only going to take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you'll probably just keep on doing the wrong things and getting no results. And if you just enjoy getting no results, then just keep on having fun getting no results. But look, majority of people think that they're making good content, and they're thinking that the algorithm is like the big bad boogeyman, like, oh, the algorithm, it won't show my stuff. Or they say dumb stuff like they're shadow banned, or that they don't have the advantages that other bigger entrepreneurs do, or that other people with bigger audiences have, not realizing that everybody starts at zero. Everybody starts with no audience. And the algorithm, especially here on YouTube, is more than fair, because all that it is designed to do is put stuff in front of people that they want to watch. And the problem is that you are not making stuff that other people want to watch. Therefore, nobody's tuning into you. Therefore, your personal brand is not building. Therefore, you can't build a business off the back of your personal brand to sell your products, because nobody knows that you exist. So it's not the algorithm. It's you. Like literally just a couple days ago, somebody was telling me about how they can't get any views, and like within 45 seconds of watching their video, I was like, well, I can see why this is a terrible video. So look, let's get into this. So just real quick, I want to cover with you, there's 4 levels of entrepreneurship, right? And your brand or branding is the foundation of everything. Then you have marketing, sales, and delegation, right? So the foundation of everything is going to be your brand, because if you can build an effective personal brand, then you have a pool of people to where you can market to. Then you sell to the people that you market to. And then here at the top, once you have some money coming in your business, you can delegate tasks, right? So I'll say the first reason why your personal brand won't grow is because your content sucks. It's because in order to build this effective personal brand, content is going to be the answer. But majority of people, they're making the wrong type of content. So you have what I like to call epic expert content. And this is the only type of content that you should make. This is the only type of content that I make. And making epic expert content is the sole reason why I've been able to make over 7 figures online in my business, right? So the E in epic stands for entertaining, right? Now, a lot of people's content is just straight up boring, and you have to have some type of entertaining aspect to it. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be going around here doing a bunch of goofy looking stuff or standing on handstands or doing whatever the latest viral dance is, but you have to have some type of entertaining aspect to the content that you make. And then you need to know what is entertaining for your actual viewer, because the P stands for personalized. Because you need to be making your content for an individual specific person. That's the number one reason why most people can't get any eyeballs on them, because they're not making their content for a specific person. Your content, it needs to be personalized. You need to only be making content for what I call your avatar. Now, your avatar, this is going to be your target customer. See how I said customer? This is not plural. It's not customers, it's customer. Because as an entrepreneur, if you just solve one problem for one specific avatar with one source of traffic, I'm telling you, you can scale that to a high 6 and 7 figure level. So the P stands for personalized. The I stands for irrefutable, right? You need to be able to speak with irrefutable facts in your content. In anything that I say, I don't ever tell you anything that I think. I tell you stuff that I know. And why do I tell you stuff that I know? Because I only talk about stuff that I have done or stuff that I am doing. So it's like if somebody else tries to tell me that something that I'm saying is wrong, I'm like, That's like telling me that I don't know how to snap my fingers when I'm sitting here snapping my fingers and witnessing me snapping my fingers in real time. I just did it. So then I talk about how I snap my fingers. Or look, I'm doing it right now. It's irrefutable. It's facts. I could care less about what somebody else's opinion is on any of my content because I know for a fact what I'm saying is real. I know for a fact what I'm saying is true. And how do I know that? Because I only talk about stuff that I've actually done. I don't tell you anything about what I think. I tell you what I know. And a lot of people in their content, they can't speak confidently because they're just telling a bunch of stuff that they think. They're really not speaking with those irrefutable facts. That's why they can't come across as being the perceived authority in their space, because other people can see that you're not even confident. Other people, they can feel that you don't know what you're talking about. And here's the big thing in content creation. When you're speaking from experience, when you're speaking with those irrefutable facts that you know to be true, it doesn't matter if anybody else believes it. What matters is that people need to believe that you believe it. And a lot of people, they're not believing that you believe what you're saying because you're not speaking with those irrefutable facts from a space of confidence. You're speaking with all these hypotheses and stuff that you think instead of stuff that you know. And then the C stands for clear. Look, you need to be able to talk about what you do in clear and concise points. A lot of people, they're so convoluted and they're trying to be so creative in their words and their verbiage and whatnot, to whereas it goes over a lot of people's heads. Look, a great philosopher by the name of Sean Corey Carter once said, "I dumbed down for my audience and doubled my dollars. They criticize me for it, yet they all yet holler. If skills sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Truthfully, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I sold 5 million. I ain't been rhyming like common sense." Right? So basically what Jay-Z says in that bar is that he can do the super duper lyrical raps like a Talib Kweli or a Common, but once he dumbed it down for his audience, boom, then he became Jay-Z. The mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs are making is that they're speaking with entirely too much industry jargon. They're trying to sound smart to whereas they actually need to dumb it down, or a better word would just be to simplify it. So look, I say that, and I hate when people say like, hey, if you can't explain it to a child, to a toddler, then you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not gonna go to that extreme, but if you can't explain it to whereas a somewhat intelligent 10 to 12-year-old can understand it, then you need to dumb it down some. So me, I make business content. I don't need to talk about words like EBITDA and whatnot, because EBITDA, earnings before interest, all that. I'm not even gonna go through what all the letters stand for, but I know that majority of my audience, a majority of people that's gonna be watching my content, they have no clue what EBITDA means. So I'll just say profit, because in layman's terms, EBITDA is just a fancy word for profit. I don't need to try to sound smart, but I need to say stuff to whereas my words can easily be comprehended by somebody on the other end. That's the epic side of things. Now, the expert. The E stands for educate. Now, look, if you can make entertaining, educational content, or what I like to call edutainment, it's a gold mine. And remember, when I say this edutainment, I'm not saying that you have to be doing a whole bunch of goofy looking stuff like everybody that makes entertainment content. But if you're making that personalized content, then you will know what is entertaining for your specific avatar. But us as entrepreneurs, all that we have to do is educate our prospective leads or educate our avatars on what it is that we have to provide to offer. But you mix in a little bit of entertainment with that, I'm telling you, business gonna go through the moon. Now, the X stands for experience. And I know there's always a spell check people. Oh, experience, it doesn't start with an X. Shut up. This is my stuff and it works. So look, kind of going back to the irrefutable facts right here, right? These are linked. Because if you're speaking from your experience in your content, then you know that you're talking with irrefutable facts. The P stands for problem solving, right? So us as entrepreneurs, we're in the problem-solving business, period. That's it. And if you think about it, that's the only thing that people spend any of their money on. Anytime somebody spends $1, they only spend it on something that solves a problem in their life. So in our content, if we can make content showing that we simply have a solution to a problem, that will attract somebody that is looking for that solution, and we can show them that we're somebody that has that. The E stands for execution. So there's something that I love to do in my content, and I pride myself on saying that my free stuff is better than other people's paid stuff. And I know this because people get results from my free content because I give them stuff that they can execute on immediately. Every single one of my videos, I give some type of information to where somebody can apply it right now. Somebody can apply it today. I give them something that they can execute on. The R stands for relevant to pain. Right? Relevant to pain. And this is big because if we're thinking of this avatar right here, right? We know that they're going to have specific pain points, and we need to tap into those pain points because pain is the number one motivator to make people move. Pain is the number one motivator to make people make a decision to change their life. And if we can make that content that is relevant to our avatar's pain points, they'll relate to that. They'll feel that because humans were emotional creatures. And then from a business standpoint, we make purchasing decisions. People, we buy from emotions and then justify with logic. And then since they can relate to that, you start to tap into certain emotions and you build this, what I call the know, like, and trust factor, because people buy stuff from people that they know, like, and trust. And then the T stands for take action, right? In all of your content, you need to be given some type of CTA, and I see this all the time. People, they're missing out on opportunities on every single video that they do because they're not giving anything to where somebody can take action, which is a call to action. So you don't want to miss any opportunities to tell somebody where they should go next. Whether that be to click a link to purchase something, whether that be to sign up for your email list, whether that be to watch the next video. But you always want to give them some type of call to action to where they can take action. And this is why people's content sucks, because they're not making this epic expert content. And that's reason one why your personal brand won't grow. Now, reason two is this: you're not unique, right? You're trying to blend in with everybody else, or a lot of times what people are doing is that they're trying to copy somebody else, and you don't want to be a copy of somebody else, because here's what happens when you're not unique online and when you just focus on copying somebody else. You remind people that are familiar with the original that the original exists. So example that I love to use is my favorite basketball player of all time and who I consider to be the GOAT. If you don't think he's the GOAT, go argue with your mama about it. Kobe Bean Bryant, right? Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. It's crazy to me that when I watch sports analysts or the talking heads on ESPN and whatnot, all of the sports writers, the reporters and whatnot, they never put Kobe at number one or even number two. They always have him down the list at like 8, 10, 12 or something crazy like that. But they all say that he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan, which they all consider to be the best. They say he's the closest thing to the best that they've ever seen in their life. So I'm like, okay, even if you don't consider him number one, but he's the closest thing to number one, how can he not at least be number two? Well, it's because he reminds them of the original, because Kobe Bryant copied Michael Jordan to a T. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs out here doing. They're seeing what's working for somebody else and they're trying to copy that stuff that is working for somebody else instead of being unique so you can stand out instead of fitting in. Because on the internet, that's what you want to do. You don't want to blend in with everybody. You want to stick out like a sore thumb. So if I'm using something like YouTube, for example, people, they're simply just looking at what's working for other people's thumbnails. And then they're like, okay, this is a style thumbnail, so let me make this style of thumbnail instead of coming up with your own style of thumbnail. To whereas when people start to become familiar with you, anytime they see your style of thumbnail, they will think of you, not somebody else. People are seeing how people edit stuff and they're like, oh, look, they're making these videos like this. Let me edit my stuff like they do. Instead of thinking of how you can have your own unique video style. So when people see your stuff, they'll think of you. And then if other people do something similar as you, as your personal brand starts to grow, then they'll be like, oh, that reminds me of them. They're copying them. So don't blend in. And the late great philosopher Nipsey Hussle once said, when you try to blend in, there's a lot of traffic in that lane with everybody else. But when you are your unique self, there's no traffic in that lane. R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle, TMC, the marathon continues. Now, The third reason why your personal brand isn't growing is because you are not growing. And look, I'm telling you, personal growth and business growth, they go hand in hand. Your business is going to be a direct reflection of who you are as a person. And if you are not personally growing, then your business is not going to be growing. So that's why I'm obsessive and I am nonstop growing my mindset, my personal development, and acquiring skills so that I can then make content talking about my growth in mindset, my personal development, and the skills that I'm acquiring and currently acquire over time. So most people straight up, they're just not doing shit. And since they're not doing shit, they're not growing, therefore they don't have shit to talk about. My content strategy is pretty simple. Do some stuff, most likely do some cool stuff, grow from it, and share what I've learned. That's pretty simple. And I like to document versus create. So a lot of people, they're thinking of ideas that they can come up with to create content instead of just documenting the process of the stuff that they do along the way. So all that my YouTube channel is pretty much just me doing stuff, figuring stuff out in real time, or talking about some stuff that I have figured out along my journey and sharing it. So it's pretty much just like I'm documenting everything and then I'm just sharing it in real time. And a lot of people, they stay stuck in their head with this because they don't think that they can share something until they have like gotten to some high guru Mensa level of some super duper expert or something like that. No, people want to hear about what didn't work too. Why don't you share about all the mess ups? Why don't you share about all the fuck ups? Why don't you share about the can't get right moments? So like maybe about 2 weeks ago, I was having a conversation with somebody and he was talking about how he was having all these problems with customer acquisition, right? Acquiring customers and whatnot. And I was like, man, that would be something great for you to talk about to help you build your brand. And he'd be like, well, I just struggled with this. Like, why would anybody want to hear that? And I'm like, you know how many people are having problems with the same thing that you're having problems with right now? Why don't you talk about, I just did these 25 things and they didn't work? I'm like, that would get just as much of a reception, if not more than a reception, than somebody talking about these 25 things I did that did work, because people also want to know what didn't work so they know what not to do. And really also that's all that my YouTube channel is too. I go do a whole bunch of stuff. I mess up at a whole bunch of stuff and then I go and I'll tell you all this stuff that didn't work either. But through all that action, you figure out what does actually work, because the only way to figure out what does work is to mess up and fail a whole bunch of times and figure out what doesn't work. That's the only way to get to success. And a lot of people will connect with somebody at those points to whereas they're talking about all the mess ups. And there's a lot of people that are going through those pain points. Remember how I said in that epic expert content, the R stood for relevant to pain. There's a lot of people that are going through those pain points to whereas nobody's talking about that because everybody wants to look perfect on the internet. Well, guess what? You're going to build that know, like, and trust factor and tap into people's emotions once you actually talk about stuff that they're going through too. Now, the fourth reason why your personal brand isn't growing is this. People, they think personal brand, but they don't look at the word for what it is. Personal brand. So you have to be personable. Crazy, right? And what better way to be personable outside of just being your authentic self? There's something that I get quite often in my comments and they're like, oh, you're so authentic. I love how you're just so raw and real and authentic. And people, they ask me that also, like, how do you be so authentic? And I'm like, well, because I'm authentically me. Like, it's pretty easy to do. Like, it would be hard if I was trying to be somebody else, but it's pretty easy to be authentic because you just have to be you. So I'm like, if me and you were just sitting on the couch right now having a conversation, I would talk the exact same as I'm talking right now. I'm not trying to build a personal brand. My personal brand is me as the person. And people can feel that. And it'll be a lot easier in your content creation also to make content if you just be your authentic self. Don't be trying to be like other people. And look, and I'm telling you, I know some of these guys that have these like well put together personal brands where they're personal brand that people perceive them to be, and themselves are two totally separate things. And I'm telling you, that looks like a very stressful life, because anytime a camera's on them, they got to put themselves together and stuff, right? I remember I was in Dubai with a whole bunch of these weirdo types, and some dude had a camera guy with them, and then we were just having the conversation, and he forgot that his microphone on, and he was like panicking. He was like, yo, you didn't post any of that stuff, right? We gotta delete that stuff because I can't have my audience hearing that I actually talk like that. I was like, what? I was like, you didn't even really say nothing crazy, bro. You just saw a big booty chick walk by and said that she had a big booty. I was like, what is wrong with acknowledging the big booty over there? But I guess his audience, he doesn't want his audience to know that he's a man with the eyeballs, right? It was crazy to me. But even on like a bigger level, right? Look at somebody like a Will Smith. I have nothing against Will Smith, but from my vantage point, a lot of stuff that Will Smith be doing, it looks crazy to me. Why? Because he spent so much time of his life crafting this personal image for the people that he was never himself, that when his actual self does come out, it looks really, really corny, and he be doing like weird stuff to try to come off as authentic because he faked it for so long. And remember, we're talking to people, and outside of the people, always keep in mind your avatar. Always be speaking to that one person, because you'll be shocked to find out how many more people fit that avatar's profile. And when you come off as your authentic self, and you come off as if you're speaking to that actual person that you are speaking to, people can feel that, and it builds that know, like, and trust factor. And number 5 really, really ties in with number 4. Number 5 is that you're inconsistent. And I know people, they hear that word all the time, consistency, you gotta be consistent, but they're not really thinking about like what being consistent in a relationship is. Because in number 4, if I said that you need to be personal, let's take that word personal. Let's chop it up a little bit. Let's take the AL off of it. What does it say? Person, right? So when you're building your personal brand, you need to be consistent, because there is a person on the other end of the content that you make to build your personal brand, and you want to be consistent for that person because you are building a relationship with them. And that's where a lot of people are really, really dropping a ball with this. It's that they're looking at their audience, or they're looking at their subscribers as numbers on the actual screen, instead of looking at them as people, which they are. So those view counts that you get, no matter how small or big, those are people on the other end. Those subscribers that come in, no matter how many or how few, those are actual people on the other end of that. And if you want to build your personal brand, that means that you are wanting to cultivate a relationship with these people. And in what relationship, period, whether it be friendships, whether it be romantic, whether it be business, whatever it is, what relationship can you have with another person where you don't consistently show up and think that that relationship is going to grow? It doesn't happen anywhere in human existence of any relationships. So I'm like, why do you think you are going to build a personal brand and build a relationship with people without consistently showing up for people? You have to show up consistently for them, just like you would in any other relationship that you have in your life. That would be crazy for me to think that I'm gonna be dating a chick and that I can just take her out one day and then just disappear for 2.5 months and then just show back up and be like, hey, she gonna be like, what are you doing? Oh, I loved our first date. And then I just disappear, and then I just show up 3 weeks later like, hey, what's happening? Like, no, that relationship isn't gonna grow. Certain relationships that I have with certain family members are stronger. Why? Because we consistently show up for each other. I consistently show up for them. The family members that I don't have the best relationship with, why is that? Because I don't consistently show up for them. They don't consistently show up for me, right? It's a consistency thing in any type of relationship. So stop looking at all these numbers that you see and just looking at them as numbers. They're people. And a lot of times too, when people are so obsessed with the numbers, it's just a vanity metric. Look, I'm telling you, to build a successful business online, you don't need to have all the people tapped in. You need to have a micro niche personal brand to make like 7 figures. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers and whatnot. Depending on what your offer is, your audience size doesn't have to be a lot. I know somebody that only has like 20,000 subscribers that makes multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. I'm telling you, somebody with 1 million subscribers does not make anywhere near multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. But guess what? He consistently shows up with his audience because he understands that, yes, for him to have his business needs fulfilled, he needs to build that personal brand, but he realized that he only needs to have a micro niche personal brand, but he consistently shows up for his audience. So he builds that relationship with them. He builds that know, like, and trust factor with them. And then reason number 6 is that your content is not aligned. And what I mean by this is that majority of people, their content, it's all over the place. It's not in any alignment. So if I use myself as an example, I make business content, right? You come to my channel for business content. And I can tell you, you're pretty much not going to hear anything else outside of business content. Why? Because my channel is aligned for that. And here's the thing with YouTube also. Like I said, we got to start hearing these words for what they are and stop ignoring them. It's called a YouTube channel. So let's think about TV for a second. If you turn it on a TV channel, you are expecting a certain type of content from that channel. So I'm a big sports watcher. If I turn it on ESPN, I do not want to see celebrity gossip on ESPN. I want to see sports. ESPN would lose viewership if they started talking about celebrity gossip. ESPN would lose viewership if they started to make cooking content. No, they make sports. I make business content. I'm not going to start vlogging. Right? Like, that's what a lot of people do. They'll start to make some content, and then they might start to get some traction with the content, and then they'll just start making totally separate content. Like, why would I make a day in the life POV while I'm in Dubai or something on a trip, or in Miami or wherever in the world? The day in the life of a successful entrepreneur, day in the life, watch how I do. Like, no, it's not in alignment with my channel and what it is that I do and what it is that I talk about and the solutions that I can offer to somebody, right? Now, if I wanted to start a whole nother channel with that, like, yeah, but that would not be in alignment with the content that I make, and that wouldn't be in alignment with my avatar. I'm telling you, once you just stay in alignment and put all these 6 together, you get numbers coming in online in your business like all them that you see on the screen right now. So if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this Credit at the Top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community and entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $47 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. We're going up to $97 a month here pretty soon. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. But look, a personal brand is the foundation to everything. Former entrepreneurial me used to really not put any thought into branding. And with what I know now, with the things that I've been through, with the lows that I've been through, I'm like, yo, you got to go all in on brand. Because like I said, you have branding, marketing, sales, and delegation. If you can focus in on the branding, then the marketing and the sales pretty much takes care of itself. And you don't have to do all these crazy marketing tactics or all these crazy sales tactics, because people will just come to know, like, and trust you and believe in you to be somebody that has a solution to their problem. And they'll want to buy from you over somebody else, because people buy stuff from people that they know, like, and trust. So focus on your brand. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. And check out this video right here for 5 business strategies that made my first million online. It's Credit at the Top.